Good morning, everyone. Again, this is Rodolfo Eric Angat, your teacher in Earth and Environmental Science. Today's Friday, thank goodness. So today, my students will be having a quiz. So everything that we've discussed throughout the week, it will be quiz today. But aside from the quiz, they will also need to submit their vocabulary sheet of the week. And these are the vocabulary words that we focused on within this week. Now, with their vocabulary sheet of the week, they can use these vocabulary words or they can use other vocabulary words that they learned from Tuesday to Thursday because you did not have a class last Monday. It was a holiday. So, they need to submit that as long they can use any vocabulary words that they learned as long as they define them, they use them in a sentence, and they illustrate them. Now, with our everyday lecture, so I try to make them more aware on how to illustrate their vocabulary words. Like this week, we've discussed about Kepler's law. And you can see here Kepler's first law, the orbits of planets are elliptical. And then we have the illustration here, which shows that they are elliptical. It's a little bit exaggerated. The way that I drew the elliptical orbits a little bit exaggerated because I just want them to realize that they are not circular. Of course, I have to tell them about that later on. So, Earth, based on this illustration, is closest to the sun. And when Earth is closest to the sun, it's actually perihelion. Okay, right there is perihelion. And one thing that students tend to get confused on is that they always think that when Earth is closest to the sun, it's summer. But that's not how it works in the northern hemisphere. So when Earth is closest to the sun, that's perihelion again, it's actually winter in the northern hemisphere. It's actually winter in the United States because the tilt of the Earth is like this. See, the northern axis, it's leaning away from the sun. So this makes the season in the United States during perihelion winter. Of course, in the southern hemisphere, it's actually summer because the southern axis is leaning towards the sun. So this tells us that the distance of Earth from the sun is not the main reason why we have seasons, but rather the tilt. Okay, because we've learned about the orbits, they're elliptical. So we have to also connect this to our previous lesson about the seasons on Earth. Now, the Kepler's second law, of course, Kepler's second law states that planets sweeps out equal areas at equal time. So the area that's traveled by the planet here and here at the same amount of time is equal. So that's Kepler's second law. One thing that we need to remember about Kepler's second law is that planets orbit or revolve faster when they are closest to the sun, and they revolve slower or orbit slower when they are farther from the sun. Now, the distance of Earth from the sun, the average distance that is equal to 1 astronomical unit or AU, or we could say it's 93 million miles. Of course, I said average distance because the distance of Earth from the sun is not always the same because the orbit of Earth around the body center of the solar system is elliptical. So it's not always. So we say average distance. One more thing is the oblate spheroid. So oblate spheroid means flattened at the poles and bulging at the equator. So why is Earth not a perfect sphere? Because Earth is rotating on its axis. And the rotation results to centrifugal force or the apparent force that is going outward. So this is mainly because of inertia, but you'll be learning more about this when you take physical science. So this is the main reason why Earth's shape is oblate spheroid. And what is that reason? Because Earth rotates on its axis. Of course, we also have to consider that Earth is 75% covered with water, and the land masses are not evenly distributed. So there are more lands in the northern hemisphere compared to the southern hemisphere. I hope this helps you with our review of the week's lesson, and see you again next time. Bye.